So next video, I want to address the timelines, and I want to address the evidence collection process that I have requested for everybody to do. I'm trying to, in this fraud project, present everybody with a reasonable and easy way to, an understandable way to construct the ingredients for the federal fraud on the court complaint in their own individual case. And so I wanted to bring up something that's probably really important. So we have access to so many tools right now that will assist us, and I keep bringing up in every video Microsoft Copilot, Google AI, and I want to say that if you take a picture of any of your case documents or any emails or communications between you, your attorney, the judges that have presided in your case, etc., and you upload it and you type in, okay, AI, I need you to review these documents and find law violations, list them clearly, explain the law violation, and add citations of law. You're going to be surprised at what you get, because since we're human, and since this is a lot, and since we're trying to file pro se here, we have to kind of understand our own limitations and how to overcome those limitations. So I'm going to just suggest that today everybody plays not only with that, what I just suggested, but I want also for everybody to understand something else about the cases that we're going to be filing. There in law is this idea of the rule of threes, okay? And so in each of our fraud cases, it's safe to say that there's so much evidence of what was done against us that it's stupid. And so what we don't want to do is upset the judges, by the federal judges that we're filing in their courts. We don't want to overload them with too much information. So let's just say you also, after you ask AI that question, you say, okay, AI, which are the most severe penalty related law violations that you saw, right? And AI will answer you. And so, and most of us are pretty well educated and, whatever. So we can make that determination in a lot of ways ourselves. I want to just also add that the big thing we need to be looking for is absence of jurisdiction on the part of the case itself, the judge, etc. We want to be looking for different areas where the judges did not act inside their judicial canons. We want to look where the attorneys did not follow the rules of civil procedure, the bar, regulated, things that they're asked to do, etc. Because those things are all procedural and administrative. And the reason that's important is because we're going to find, I believe, the most success is when we can prove 14th Amendment, due process violations. And a lot of that, believe it or not, is procedural and administrative. And so, it deals in service, how you were served. It deals in the way things are filed. It deals in, and so anyway, long story short, with this rule of threes that I was just referring to, part of what I want everybody to realize is that we cannot present our entire evidence of every corrupt and wrong thing, because every one of the cases that I've looked at of this nature has 15,000 different law violations in it. And so when we present it to the judge that way, it's going to look messy and unorganized, and the key in law is clear and concise. So instead of taking every last law violation against us, we're going to apply this rule of three, which basically says that in order to, satisfy this complaint, we're going to show in three definitive, very illegal ways our rights were violated, and the judicial machinery was corrupted through that. But that's kind of where we need to be at, is when I said we needed to deal with the trauma, we need to look back and go through things in these cases. One of the problems that we've had is that every single person that's been through this is so overloaded with all the emotional portion of what's been done to us that we have a problem being able to transfer into logic. And logic says that the judge is not going to look at our cases and take them seriously if they are so full that it takes the judge 5 days to read it, okay? So one of the major things that I want everybody thinking about is how you can look into your case and choose the biggest 3 issues that were done against you that as a whole, like I said, we're doing fraud on the court complaint, so corrupted the judicial machinery so that your case is null, all right? But at the same time, I want you to also take the most important parts of the harm that was done to you and be ready to list that, okay? So I want you to be able to look at your evidence in that capacity as well and say, okay, I have all this overwhelming evidence. I don't know how to organize it. So let me take the most important key things that were violated against me, rights, etc., whatever, and take those key pieces of evidence only and set those aside. So when you go through your timeline, okay, and you've done that, the original timeline that shows the narrative from the beginning, from your perspective, now I'm going to ask you to go in and take out the tiny details, okay? And I know it sounds bad because every detail is relevant. Like every bit of the trauma and harm that we've been through is relevant, okay? But the key for us right now is to get these cases into the courts at all. So we're going to have to deal with the parameters that are kind of given to us by these federal judges. So that being said, I want you to go back through your timeline, and it's a really good idea to submit that timeline to Google and to say, you know, to like Google AI, you know, Copilot, whatever, to AI. It's really good to submit that timeline and say, take out the most relevant pieces. Okay, we cannot expect ourselves to be ready for everything, right? To have everything perfect. So being able to have the assistance of AI is actually quite helpful. And so anyway, I need everybody to focus their mind on the fact that instead of being overwhelmed, we're going to think of this case, this complaint in terms of the rule of threes, where the most relevant, only the most relevant evidence, only the most relevant parts of the fraud, only the most, all of the rest of that will be brought up in court when our cases are brought before the federal judge. If he has questions, he's going to ask questions, okay? So we're going to find the most relevant parts of what made it fraud, and we're only going to submit that as evidence. So hopefully that will take everybody's overwhelmedness and sort of help deal with that, okay? And so in the meantime, once again, I thank everybody for your patience with me. I absolutely need everybody to understand, like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I don't give legal advice, but what I do is tell you what I've learned, okay? So in this way, I need everybody to understand that when we go through our timeline that we just created and we're able to pick out just the most relevant law-violating evidence and corroborate it with the evidence, the actual physical evidence we have of that, it's going to make our cases a lot easier. Then we don't feel like we're completely, you know, under a giant weight of paperwork. But anyway, I hope everybody has a good day, and I'm going to keep on posting. Please ask questions. Please do what you need to do. I am not a lawyer. I do not give legal advice. But thank you for letting me show you what I know.